Kia ora everyone, I'm Kim Ibson, I'm the Service Manager for the Medical Management Unit.
Hi, I'm Nicole, I'm the Administrator in Recruitment in the Medical Management Unit.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Kate Kerr tōku ingoa. I'm Kate Kerr, one of the ED consultants here at Rotorua Hospital and one of the pre-vocational supervisors.
Kia ora, I'm Christian, I'm one of the PGY2s at Rotorua Hospital at the moment.
Good everyone, I'm Sam, I'm a PGY1 at Rotorua Hospital.
My name is Holly Wilson, I'm a PGY1 at Rotorua Hospital. Currently I'm on the medical unit and previously finished my orthopaedic run. I chose to work at Rotorua Hospital because I heard that it has been really well supported, as well as it's got lots of really great outdoor activities such as the redwoods, multiple lakes, and we've got a really good work-life balance here. We've also got a great medical management unit who abide by the 10-4 roster, which is also really good. And I've really enjoyed my first few months working here at Lakes DHB. I plan on working here next year as well.
Hello, I'm Corey, PGY2 at Rotorua Hospital, currently working in the orthopaedic unit. I chose to come to Lakes DHB as a PGY1 because it's got a great reputation for teaching and work-life balance. The main benefits of working here, you've got the lovely outdoor stuff to do, so if you're a keen mountain biker or if you want to go out to the lakes and that sort of thing. Workload's pretty reasonable here, so most days you start from just around 8 and you're normally able to get away from work by 4. You only have to work 1 in 4 weekends, give or take, and over those times you're quite well supported by senior staff.
Hey, my name's Tim, I'm one of the medical registrars here in Rotorua Hospital. I'm in my 3rd year now. I guess a little bit biased because I'm from Rotorua, grew up here and went to school here. But coming back to this hospital was easily the best medical decision I've ever made. The staff here are all wonderful, it's a great place to learn. Not too big that you get lost in the shuffle, but not small enough that you don't get exposure to medical things. So I mean, if you choose to come to Rotorua, it's definitely one of the best things you'll do. Everyone here is great. We've got the Redwoods, the hospital here has heaps of social sport teams, touch, basketball, netball.
Hi, I'm Sneha, I'm currently a PGY2. I chose to come to Rotorua in my first year of working because I really wanted to come to a smaller centre, and I heard that it was really friendly, and it's been an amazing experience so far. All the bosses are really friendly, and it's a great work-life balance, so I recommend it. Advice for applying to Lakes DHB or Rotorua Hospital. So I think it's probably a good idea if you come in and see our medical management unit personally.
Definitely pop on through some stage during the year and show your face around. It's a very friendly community and they want to make sure that each applicant would fit in here, so that's the main thing.
Previously in the past it's been quite popular among the TIs to apply here, but we're also making space for our Otago grads as well as people from other hospitals.
Come join, lots of fun, it'll be sweet.
So that's it, I think.
Thank you all for coming along and expressing interest in our hospital. We're going to do a brief presentation first, myself and we actually have Kim, it says Julie on the screen, but she's away sick today, so we've got our service manager Kim here. We're going to do a brief presentation and then hand over to the RMOs to tell you what it's really like, and then we will have some questions and answers after that. Why come and work here with us? We're a small, unique hospital. We're in a great location. Most of you have probably been here before, but we've got 15 lakes all within half an hour drive. Amazing river with kayaking, whitewater kayaking. The forest is a real draw card here. Some of the best mountain biking and running tracks in the world. Also horse riding and other recreational pursuits. And also we're really central, so we're close to a lot of other places and really central in the North Island, close to a lot of other outdoor activities, but also some cities if you prefer, if you want to have some better shopping and nightlife as well. There's just a few more photos of biking, rivers, hot pools. One at the bottom right is a place called Secret Spot, which is a favourite post-riding or walking activity in the forest, and you can get beer delivered to your hot tub. The hospital itself, like I said, it's a small size, but that means it's quite friendly. You get to know everyone. There's less hierarchy in a place like this and a more supportive environment. Lots of hands-on learning. We have an excellent formal teaching program, and we were recently visited by the Medical Council and had our accreditation through the Medical Council just in the last few weeks, and we were commended on a lot of our our teaching practices, the support that we offer our interns, and just generally the culture within the hospital. Despite being small, we do have a wide range of clinical runs, and I've got those on the next slide. We also have a strong emphasis on Māori health. We have a population roughly 40% Māori, and that's represented not only in our patients but in our staff as well. And yeah, there's a big emphasis on Māori health, and we're continually trying to improve in this area as well. So that's something that does attract interns and SMOs here, and it's really one of the enjoyable parts of the job, working in a more multicultural environment. It's a small town, so it's a short commute wherever you live. There's bike parking. The parking's free. I know some hospitals, it's you can't park anywhere near the hospital, particularly at night or long days, but it's all pretty easy here. Our runs, we offer the general and PGY1, Gen Med, Surge, Ortho, psychiatry, community psychiatry, general practice, and community topo as a run as well. And we try and give people a range of a mixture of surgical and medical runs, and all interns will have one community-based attachment over that first or second year, so over PGY1 and 2. And having the rural GP and having the rural hospital attachment is actually really valued by interns, and they get a lot out of those runs and enjoy them. And then in PGY2, we have all the same runs as PGY1, but offer ICU and anaesthetics, and then 6-month runs in ED, paediatrics, or ONG, and often PGY2s who are interested in those areas or interested in general practice do the diploma at the same time as doing one of those, do either the paediatric or the ONG diploma. And then most people get a reliever run in their second year, unless you're doing 2 of the 6-month runs, and that's good for a bit of extra pocket money. We have protected teaching time, and like I said, this was something we were commended on in our recent Medical Council visit. But essentially we have the Tuesday and Thursday medical and surgical teaching for an hour each, and then Wednesday we have a meeting, the PGY1s meet with the pre-vocational supervisor for a meeting which touches on different, sort of a more broader holistic approach to medicine and supporting you guys, especially at the start and start of your careers, and building on lots of those other sort of non-clinical or broader aspects of being a doctor. We also have grand rounds and departmental teaching, and interns are welcome to attend those. And there's also lots of just hands-on training and bedside teaching offered by the consultants on different runs. We have 5 pre-vocational educational supervisors here at Rotorua, and we recently have appointed a GP as one of the pre-vocational supervisors, And Medical Council didn't think that was happening in any other place, so we think we're quite progressive in that area. But it's been quite good. He's the GP who's joined the group is really good at bringing that balance of community into our intern group, and also in terms of career planning, he's someone who, you know, can offer a primary care perspective, and also is a good resource with people, with the interns when they're doing their community-based attachments as well, and for us to have that better communication between primary and secondary care. So we're really here to support your transition in those first few years. Make sure that you're getting a good experience here in Rotorua, getting supervised adequately, getting your education program that you should be. We also provide pastoral care and career planning. So we have one-on-one meetings during, you know, at the end of every run, plus, as I mentioned, those weekly group meetings.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk through our recruitment process, the ranking and selection criteria. So what makes a successful candidate? So come and visit us, that's always good. And make your application personal. A personalised cover letter should include why you want to work here. We're really interested in that, why you think that Lakes would be somewhere that would interest you, if you've got any connections to our community, how you see your skills enabling our whānau, paint a picture for us of who you are so that we can get to know you, even though it's on a bit of paper. Connections to the area plays a strong part in the selection process, but obviously it's not a mandatory requirement. So this is just a summary of what we take into consideration, we being the MMU unit and the prevocationals. So, you know, the visit, so how that went, your cover letter, CV, so the important things that you put in there, your interests, could be your sports or what other, you know, different things that you'd like to do, hobbies, any family connections, personal statements, non-academic achievements, ACE scores, references, they are a must, transcripts, academic achievements, interest, community, I've already said that, and ties to the region, scholarships and ethnicity.
Kia ora everybody. So this is the part where Christian and I let you know what it's like to actually work here as RMOs. So like we said before, I'm Sam and I'm a PGY1. So I've only been working for not even 6 months yet. But Christian is PGY2 and he's more experienced than me and he's been here a bit longer.
Yep.
Both of us were here as students as well and then made the transition into being house officers. So this is our title, point of view, you're now a house officer. What is it really like?
It's really scary.
Oh.
Just generally a little bit scary. So there's lots to do here if you're a person that loves exercise. There's literally everything you could think of. We have the Whakarewarewa forest, we have the beautiful lakes, and I'm sure Kate talked about this when I was absent, sorry. But I also want to say that if you're not really fitspo but you love the outdoors, it's still the place to be. You don't have to be into all of that stuff. And also Rotorua is essential to everything. So although we're a small place, we're close to places like Tauranga, which have shops and beaches and all the different house offices in different places, as well as Hamilton. We have a very active social club, which I believe is a great part of being here, because we're a small knit group, but we're very tight, and we do a lot of things together outside the hospital. Christian is currently one of our leaders in the social club, and he plans all of our events at the moment. And one of the highlights of the year, and something I think is special about our hospital, is that we have a ball every year. And I would say it's quite a real ball. It makes you think when you're leaving med school and you won't have any anymore, you still have them every year. So that's a great part of it. And the other thing is that as a small place, it often blends your personal and professional life a little bit. So you have to be willing to, to have all of those areas intertwine a little bit. Your turn.
Oh, yeah. So what's it actually like inside the hospital? So like Sam said, it's super friendly, a tight community. You can walk down the hallway, you can say hi to practically anyone, even if you don't know their name. The coffee people know your order in the morning, which is a real bonus. Um,
Know your lunch number.
yeah, they know your lunch number. It's really amazing that people get to know you as a person. They'll ask about your weekends and everything. Tons and tons of teaching. Even if you're not on a specific run, you're welcome to go to their teaching. So PEDS, ONG, ED have their ones on Tuesdays. You're always welcome to go to those. And also bedside teaching as well. If you're unsure about something, then you can always ask your reg or your SMO, and they're always more than happy to help. And like the point below it, everyone's approachable. The seniors are great. They're amazing. They really do want to see you thrive. They don't try to knock you down. And again, yeah, they're very, very willing to impart knowledge because they want you to be the best PGY1 that you can be. Work-life balance is really good. It's 8-ish, depending on your run, to 4. We've put in brackets eventually because at the beginning it is not 4.
But that's normal no matter where you are.
Yeah, exactly. But eventually you get to leaving at 4 or even 3:30 sometimes. But rostering, you'll either be on 10 days on, 4 days off, or 10 or 4, or 12 days on, 2 days off. But for the first 6 months, I believe everyone's 10 and 4. Yeah. Sometimes you might be 2 days off, 10 days on, 2 days off. And that's just how it goes sometimes. For the first 6 months, you won't be on nights, but one of the PGY2s will come in and give you a talk about logistics of nights, what time you start, what's expected, where to go for handover. And you work about 1 in every 4 to 5 weekends, with a maximum of 3 per quarter, unless you pick them up. But that's on you. And yeah, just like the earlier point, you finish a lot earlier than the bigger hospitals.
So we just wanted to talk a little bit about what to expect from the individual runs that we have here. So Christian and I will briefly just go through them because I remember wanting to know this when I was in your guys' position. So the surgical runs, we only have gen surg and orthopedics here, but you get a really great hands-on experience and a very general kind of foundation, which is exactly what you need when you're a house officer. So I've only done gen surg myself. The thing with gen surg is you do it a little bit longer hours, but I think it's an incredible run to start on. We have all of the general things like colorectal, breast, thyroid, and there's a bit of ENT in there as well. And a great thing about this hospital, I think, is that you get invited to do basically anything you want if you're interested in surgery. So you have a lot of time to go to surgery, to go to minor ops, and to get a lot of one-on-one time with consultants and registrars, which I think is quite unique to here.
Orthopedics, also a very good run. I started on orthopedics myself. More of a chill run, started at 7:30, ward rounds done by 8:15, down at coffee by 8:20. Start your actual jobs at 9. It's really good, and it does leave a lot of space to go to clinic, to go do your clerkings, to go to theatre if you want to, if that interests you. All of the bosses are very, very happy to have you in theatre, have you scrubbed in, watching, helping. So if orthopedics is something that interests you, it's, yeah, a lot of hands-on experience here as well.
And then in terms of medical runs, we've got them listed there, what you can do. I'd say nearly everybody does a general medicine run, which again is very general, but we do have some specialties. So we have some cardiologists, respiratory physicians, endocrinologists, and gastroenterologists. And the teams kind of have their, well, there's 4 teams and they have their kind of specialty, but every team, it kind of experiences every medical condition. So it doesn't mean you'll only learn cardiology. If you're in medicine, you get to learn everything. So it's really good learning when you first start.
Yeah, and also with that, like, you know, stroke patients come in under every team. So you might be a risk physician, but you have a stroke. So you learn how to manage all of that. So when you're on nights later on, it becomes a bit more comfortable. I did rehab and older persons service. Excellent run. The 2 consultants that are on are very, very good teachers. They're willing to teach, but they genuinely care about your learning as well. If you don't understand something, they'll ask you if you understand or not, and if not, they'll stop you right then and then. They'll teach you about it. And yeah, all the people down there are really nice. It's a more relaxed way of life, and it's an 8:45 start, which is a big bonus.
So we also have psychiatry, like we've written there, and I think a big plus about Rotorua Hospital is that you have the chance, like Kate said before, to go to Taupo and some other rural places. So in Taupo, you get to be very independent. You're the one health officer with one consultant. And so those patients are basically your patients. There's also other places like Turangi, which is a very rural place with very sick people and a lot of interesting medicine. And also, I think it's important to mention that Murupara is kind of known as a place you can go as well, but I don't think that's an option anymore. So just in case anyone was wondering. Another thing I think is special about working here is that Te Ao Māori is a very big factor. This is probably the most friendly hospital I've ever been to, and also there's a big emphasis on everything Māori, and that is because we're trying to reflect our population. There's a few things that are really cool, is that we have karakia every morning at this hospital at 8 AM in the atrium. All sorts of people go. It's not just doctors, it's very much anybody, but it is a bit hard to go when you start out as a house officer because it's at 8 AM. Working on that, good. Great. So hopefully eventually we'll all get to go, but on just about every run you can get down a couple of times. It's a really great way to start off your day. We also have a lot of options for te reo courses. I believe there's one run by the hospital, and there's also so many in town that you can go to for free. And you'll see lots of your fellow hospital people there. Everyone kind of takes them up. And another great thing is that we have a really great cultural navigation service, which I think has a really big play in in patient care, which is awesome. And I don't know if that's what it's like in other places, but yeah, we have really great support from them. Oh, and these are just some words from current RMOs. I thought I would ask people what they loved about being here, and these are two of our RMOs who have come from Otago. So I bet it can feel a bit scary when everyone is from Auckland as students here, and it's a bit hard to know what it's like. But this is Chris and Em, and they've loved being here so far. So this is what they wanted to let you know. And then there's some others. And these are some of our RMOs enjoying their lives. Two of them are at work. That's Winnie over there in Taupo with the nurses, who is loving it down there. Beth's in Turangi at the moment. That's her in the red zone. And then one of the other ones is Israel, who came from Wellington. And she's saying she loves the outdoors minutes from the hospital, but that is not minutes from the hospital. That is the Tongariro crossing. But that's the photo I have of her.
For people who are moving to Rotorua, just in terms of accommodation, is it relatively easy to find accommodation in Rotorua? Are there social groups online where doctors can live with other doctors and things like that?
Yeah, usually. Otherwise, you can always ask MMU and they'll put out an email saying, we've got someone who's looking for a house. Trade Me, always a good place to look as well. And yeah, on Facebook, there are a couple of Rotorua community buy-sell swaps, flatmate wanted, etc. groups as well. So yeah, it is relatively easy to find.
What's the price of rent in Rotorua at the moment, generally?
Ooh, depends on whereabouts you live.
I'd say it isn't as cheap as probably people think it is, just because it's a small place.
Yeah.
You probably have to be prepared to pay at least 170 to 200 a week. That's honestly what I found.
Yeah.
It's because we do have a bit of a housing shortage here, although I don't know anyone that's actually found it hard to find somewhere to live.
Kia ora, thank you very much for your time. How many Otago grads do you usually have starting in PGY 1 year?
It's variable each year. This year we actually have half and half. So this year we have half Otago graduates, and actually everyone who came from Otago was from Christchurch.
Right.
But that was just the way it played out. I think a group a group wanted to apply and obviously ranked it highly. So we have half and half as the PGY1 group this year. I think it was a bit less the year before.
Yeah, I think there were only 4 in my year.
Yeah.
But I think Liam came from Christchurch, and then a bunch of people from Christchurch spoke to him, and then he sold them on it. So they came.
I think it's good to have a balance. So we will try and have roughly half and half, I think, or so we definitely like to have that balance. We don't just want all the TIs who are here from Auckland. We do think it's really good to have that balance between the different medical schools.
Kia ora. So what is the cost of living like in Rotorua? Hot topic. Do some doctors live at the Lakes DHB?
That's not an option that I've heard of.
Okay.
I think for the rural runs, there's access
yeah.
to
Yeah,
places
so
to stay.
for if you were to go, so at the hospital here, no, but in Taupō, there's little houses on site, which people stay at for free. And in Turangi, there's a whole house that is like allocated to the doctor that's staying there. But other than that, no.
And I think cost of living, probably food prices and things are probably similar to across the country. But it is an area where food's growing, so it's not, it's not difficult to access. Wouldn't be any higher than anywhere else.
Yeah.
In terms of, like I said, there's very little commute, so you're going to be spending less on petrol. If you've gone from somewhere where you're driving half an hour to the hospital, you could easily bike from anywhere where you live in town. It's all relatively flat. Or even driving, it's not going to be more than sort of 5-10 minutes at the most. So there's things that are that do make it cheaper living here than probably some of the bigger cities. I guess you're also on a rural band, which does seem counterintuitive to people living in a more expensive city, but it's a perk of living here. It's probably somewhat cheaper living somewhere like this, and you get paid a little bit more.
Next question. Do you feel as a small centre, you experience or see less pathology compared to bigger centres? For example, less complex surgery cases or complex medical cases?
Yes and no. A lot of things, as soon as they become outside of our scope, go across to Waikato or to Auckland. But in saying that, you also have a population that also is a bit more comorbid, present a bit later. So you do see later stage disease presenting, and so you have to deal with it from the late stage backwards rather than dealing with it before it gets to that. So you do see complex patients, but not in the sense that Auckland or Waikato or bigger centres would see them. But you see more comorbid patients, which does make your clinical decision making a bit more, you have to think through it a bit more.
Yeah, so the probably surgical ones, I guess you're not seeing, you're not seeing transplants and you're not seeing neurosurgery and things, but medical, I think you're seeing just as complex. And I've worked in lots of hospitals, but lots of big hospitals, and here for the size of population, the pathology, like you do see a lot of pathology. In ED, I've seen, the sickest kids, more sick kids than I've seen anywhere else. And that's, unfortunately, that's because of our demographic. There's a lot of poverty here. So you do see lots of late presentations, late cancer presentations, really complex medical conditions in young patients. So I think I wouldn't be worried about not seeing pathology here. You will see pathology. But yeah, if you want to, specialise in some, type of surgery and you want to start looking after transplant patients or something early on, then you're not going to see that here.
I also think, though, just to add that when you first start out, everything feels really interesting. And I feel like I've seen quite crazy stuff for a small hospital here. And you get, I think, quite a lot of responsibility as a junior. And it's definitely a great amount of pathology to learn from, I think. I wouldn't want any more at the moment. But yeah.
Just got a follow-up question. I think it relates to accommodation surrounding lakes around Rotorua, i.e. Lake Tarawera.
Oh, Lake Tarawera.
Okay.
It's limited out there. I've looked.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that live at the lakes. Yeah.
Lots of people live at the lakes. The closest one, Lake Okataka, it's probably the one most people live at.
There's a lot more houses there.
It's a 5 to 10 minute drive. I actually lived there when I was a junior doctor here.
Did you?
Yeah. So there is options for living at the lake. And there's, there's Rotorua, Rotorua. So there is accommodation options at the at Lakes, and that sounds much nicer than living at the hospital.
Yeah.
We've been facilitating TRs visiting for the last month or so. So just email Julie, and she usually forwards it to one of the, which pre-vocational supervisor is free, and they will, you know, and one of us will meet with you and show you around and have a chat.
So how strongly would you recommend coming to visit Lakes DHB? If it's not possible, would you like TIs to arrange Zoom interviews?
It's definitely good to be able to put a face to a name and to meet people. If it's not possible, we could arrange a Zoom. Yeah, so it's not an absolute must, but it traditionally it definitely helps when we can put a face to a name. We've met you, it's more personal. We do get you know, we have already had, I don't know how many people visit, 10 to 15 visits already over the last few weeks. So there, you know, lots of people are making the effort. So I guess it does look good, I think, if you do visit, but it's not essential. But I think making some effort, and we could do a short video conference or video talk. Yeah, it's not really an interview, it's more just a casual chat, getting to know you and you know, exploring your reasons for wanting to come here really is the main, and to answer any questions you might have. So it's more just that, yeah, forming some connection so that when we're looking through a huge pile of CVs, we sort of know a little bit about you.
Another question here. This is probably for the junior RMOs. What are the long days like, and what do you cover?
So if you're on the medical long day, you can be pulled to that if you're on medical, rehab, or inpatient psych or community psych. So you cover the medical ward, a little bit of ICU, but there's always an anaesthetist on call. ICU will only call you to chart something super basic. And you cover rehab as well. Medical long days tend to be more chill than the surgical long days because you're not doing the clerking, so you're not being pulled between ED and the ward. Surgical long days are covered by either a surge or an ortho house officer, and you cover both surge and ortho, and ENT as well, though there's not a great volume of ENT patients. And that entails dealing with ward calls, but also you have to go down and do the clerking after the reg has seen the patient. So that can pull your time. You just have to learn how to prioritize that, because it can feel a bit overwhelming having to run down the stairs to ED, clerk 2 patients, run back up to the ward because someone's crashing, and then run back down to ED again to see the 3rd patient, which you already knew about at the beginning.
So you essentially admit the patient when you're doing that. But it's also quite good learning. It's just trying to learn how to balance the ward jobs and the admitting. And also just there's only one house officer, so that might be different. So there's one house officer on medicine, one house officer on surgery.
Thanks.
Yeah, and sorry, we didn't touch on nights before. You'll start doing those 6 months in. On nights, there's one of you that covers medicine, rehab, ICU, surge, and ortho, and psych. But you never get called to psych, so don't really worry about psych.
Yeah, so you're like both of the house officers.
Yeah, so you're both the long day house officers as one, and you start at 10 p.m. and you finish at 8 in the morning. Unless it's a Saturday or a Sunday, you start at 9 p.m. You start an hour earlier as a courtesy thing, because you'll work double long days on the weekend if you're covering weekend during the day.
Thanks, Krish. Last opportunities for questions to come through, please. I do have another question here. It's always a favourite, and be honest. What is the hospital food like?
I'm on community psych, so I take every opportunity I can to eat lunch in town. I'll let that speak for itself.
The food isn't that good, but I honestly don't mind it. And you have to remember it's free.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think the variety is okay, but the cooked meals are not something I look forward to, but they're not too terrible.
But then you also weigh it up with, like, you get free parking, so like you're not actually paying for much at the hospital anyway. You pay for your coffee, and that's about it.
Fish and chip Friday.
yeah, actually.
Cool. is there anything else from our panel members that you'd like to add?
It's really fun here.
It's the best.
It
No
is.
regrets at all. Love it. Don't want to leave.
This is not a paid message by Lakes DHB.
Chris, you have a very fun t-shirt, so yeah.
He has a different one every day.
This is one of my more toned down ones.
Yeah.
Cool. I've really enjoyed meeting with you all, and I've really enjoyed hearing about what it's like working at Lakes District Health Board, and what it's like to work and live in your region as well. So I'd just like to say thank you to you all. Nicola, who I can see is, well, I can't see, but hiding around the corner. Thanks, Nicola. Kim, Kate, and Krishna and Samantha, thanks so much for popping along this afternoon, and just offering your insight about what it's like working at your Lakes DHB. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, look, that's been a really successful webinar, and the quality of the questions is just testament to the information that you provided for all of us. So I'll end the webinar here, and wish you all the very best, and to our TIs who are applying this year, all the best with your applications, which close in about a month and a bit's time. Good luck with your ACE applications, and haere rā, ka kite anō.
Ka kite.
Ka kite. Thank you all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.